Hi there, thanks for joining me again. Today I would like to discuss being in wrong relationships or not being able to be by yourself. And I think what I've learned through years of being in the wrong relationships was that I was really scared of being by myself. I just couldn't face the fact that I would be by myself, dealing with the big bad world out there. And to the large part, all these wrong relationships didn't help me in any way to get to where I wanted to go. I didn't meet anybody that actually wanted to sort of help me get to where I needed to go. And I think the biggest reason for that is because I didn't really know where I wanted to go. And I just thought, it's so hard coping with everything by yourself and you end up just, jumping from one relationship to the next and not really finding your feet or knowing what you want to do with your life. And I find there's a lot of people that actually stay in these unhappy relationships because the fear of the unknown. They're scared to leave and face things by themselves because they don't know what to do when they're all by themselves. And this made me think, there's so many people out there dealing with these things. They in situations where the two people in the relationship don't want the same thing, yet they're stuck in this cycle of, they're fighting, they're arguing, they're bumping heads. Nothing ever really gets resolved, but nobody's helping anybody to get anywhere. Or it could be one-sided, that you're helping the person that you're with and you're not getting anything in return because, quite honestly, they don't care which way you're going. It's all about what they need in their lives. And I think to stop the cycle of that happening, you have to really take time out. You have to take space from someone, and you have to really put effort into finding who you are and what you want in your life before you can, move forward with somebody else. You need to fill your life with so many things that you are busy working on, your dreams, your ideals, your perfect life that you always wanted. And I'm not saying perfect, like nothing's perfect, but that picture that you had when you were little about what you were going to do. And so many people, when I ask them the question to say, what do you want to do? What did you always imagine you're going to do when you were little? And they would say, well, I'd have lots of money and I'd go and travel the world and, have this big expensive wedding and buy this huge house and have a family and settle down and, those type of pictures. But to be realistic about it, you have to really sit down and think, what is it that you want in your life? Okay, so you want to have lots of money. What type of jobs is there out there that's going to make you a lot of money? Because you're not just going to meet someone, settle down and have all this money. You need to actually put some work into it. And then I'd say you also have to sort of go and have a look and see, what are you good at? Go and make a little list. And you know what? I think 9 times out of 10 it's easier to make a list of what you're not good at than to make a list of what you're good at, because we accept our flaws so much easier than we actually praise ourselves. We're in a habit of just putting ourselves down there and not really, thinking of what are the things I'm really good at. And you could perhaps ask a couple of either friends, family, co-workers, what are some of the things that you've noticed about me that is standing out about me? Stuff that I am doing really well at, or people are impressed that I do this, or just something that somebody would look at and go, wow, I wish I could do that. Those are certain characteristics that you have that will help you in the correct job. But before you can get to the correct job, you first need to assess your... I'm sorry. You first need to assess the whole situation that you're in at the moment. Most people find themselves working for years and years in a job that they're absolutely not happy in, but they're just working to like sort of go to work, come home, to end of the month get pay all the bills, be broke again, and go back to work again. And that cycle is never ending, and you never feel like you're getting anywhere and nothing's happening to your life. And that is because you don't invest in yourself. You working purely just to pay bills, and then you would, look at this and say, oh, but I can barely afford to, sort of get through a month. You somehow can afford to spend some money on stuff that you don't really need, like going out for drinks or, buying yourself something or whatever. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, you should be doing that. But before you start spending too much on the useless things that isn't helping you to get to where you need to go, you should rather like restructure the way you're looking at things. And you restructure that you work out a plan where your salary pays your debt, your bills, like your rent, your food, if you've got clothing accounts or stuff like that. But those are also like negatives that you shouldn't really have until you can afford to pay for the stuff. But like a car payment or insurance or whatever the case is, you've got a couple of things that goes off your account monthly and you need to have money for that. Whatever is extra over and above that, this is now after your food expenses and all that's been taken off, even if it's $200 a month, you put that money into furthering yourself in the direction where you want to go. And you're saying like, what can I do with $200? Well, there's actually quite a lot you can do. If you're really, really interested in furthering yourself, you can do courses on Udemy. They've got a whole bunch of different courses. You do get certification, and if you do want to do a proper course that you can get like a proper diploma or whatever for, you can look it up. You can possibly do it there for like $200 or cheaper. You put the money into that course, and they would normally say to you, okay, if you want to go and get your certificate, you're going to have to pay for an exam somewhere or whatever, but then you've done the entire course, you know how these things work, you get your certificates. Sometimes only doing that course and getting those certificates and having the knowledge is enough to actually get you a job in the field where you want to go. So it's worth a try, it's worth to start with, because you already know these things, you're learning it, and you can see if you like it before you even start the job. And then once you get to the point where you're getting your certification and that, you can start looking out for another job and that, or you can start looking at other ways to make extra income. Instead of sitting wasting your time moping about what your life is not like, why don't you rather work on what you want it to be like? Put some effort into working towards a future for you, to reaching your goals and reaching your dreams, because those things are important. It's important for your happiness. Happiness don't come from anybody else, regardless of, so many people say, if I just meet the perfect person and, have a job and have this, and it's all going to be perfect and I'm going to be so happy. No, it's wrong. You have to be happy before you meet the person, before you get the job, before you do all of those things. And if you really do a little bit of investigation as to what you want in life and you pursue that, you actually put some effort into doing some studies and really put effort into finding what you like in life, then you will find you will be happy in your job, because you have put yourself in a position where you can do something that makes you happy. You work wiser with your money, so by the time you get to that point where you can do the job that makes you happy, that pays you the better salary and all that, you can have that extra money to spend. And go to a hair salon monthly, or do your nails, or buy clothes, or, you know, if you're a guy, put money towards another car or bike or whatever. The things that's going to make you happy, you know. But be careful not to buy things or date people or sorry, careful not to like buy too much into any of these things to like make you happy, because nothing's going to make you happy if you're not happy inside. You need to work on that daily. And the reason you're not happy is because you're not working on what makes you happy. You need to physically put effort into yourself. You need to be happy with yourself. You need to love yourself. You need to accept yourself, and you need to further yourself for you to have this excitement inside. So I hope that's like touched on a couple of people's hearts there, and maybe like rang a bell with some people. So if you're in a relationship where you're not happy, you cannot see your future with this person, you cannot spend forever, stop wasting that person's and your own time, and start living your life. Start working towards your dreams and goals. That should be your first priority. But you know what? Since I started working on what I want to do in my life, I'm quite happy being single. I don't feel like I'm lonely. I don't feel like I miss having somebody around in that, because I'm putting effort and time into my dreams and my goals, and I actually feel complete being me, you know. I don't need somebody to fulfill that, you know, to make me complete. You cannot put two incomplete people together and have a complete person. It doesn't work that way. You have to be complete first before you can meet the love of your life. And they have to be complete before the two of you can make a perfect couple that can withstand the storms. I'm not saying you're not going to have trouble. It's impossible to meet somebody and never have any issues. You're going to go through tough times, but you know what? That's why they say for better or for worse. Just make sure you meet somebody that isn't like the whole physical attraction, and there's no like intimacy on a emotional level. You know, intimacy isn't about the sex that's going on there. Sure, that's important later when you're married and you know, sure, you want to spend your life with that person, but when you first meet somebody, you got to find somebody that you could talk to for hours without running out of things to say, and really just talk about anything and everything, and you feel so comfortable and so happy spending time with that person. And that is your emotional, you know, intimacy, that connection you make with that person. Because one day when you both are old and that, the physical's not going to be there anymore, and then you have nothing left if you haven't looked for that. So anyways, I hope this helps. I hope you guys like this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment below. You know, I'd like to hear your views. Thanks for joining me. I'll check you again.